All right, y'all. I'm back with another video. So I'm gonna go over Microsoft, Meta, and Disney. So on Microsoft, I like the close on Friday, and I think this is going back up to 523. Now, why do I say that? First off, you could argue that this is the head and shoulders. I know people would be like, "Oh, this is the left shoulder, this is the head." So if price is gonna make that right shoulder, it's gonna make it at 523 to 529. Right? If you want to look at the overall bearish take. But for me, if you measure this, how do I, hold up. Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't really see a problem. So anyways, if you measure this move right here, this high, this overall high at 553 to this low, the 50% is at 523.49, right? Of this giant impulsive move that price made. So it dropped $60, right? So I'm at least looking at price to rebound at least like half of it, 30 bucks. So I'm pretty much looking for a price to make this overall $30 move. And then from 523, if we're still booming 530, then we have a gap right here to fill at 536, by the way. But I'm looking at 523. And then two, I don't know if y'all noticed, but on Thursday, what this it was down $8, right? So even right here, it went from 509 down to 499, came back up, right? High was 513, went down to 497, right? It swept these lows, this low and this low, right? Hence this candle right here. The moment it swept those lows, what happened? And it filled this gap. There's a gap right here. What happened? Price bounced right back up, broke back right over 505, and now it's here. So I'm at least looking going to next week. Well, yeah. So going to next week, as long what time frame did I do it on? Okay, I'm gonna just it'll make it easier if I just draw the fib. So 505.47 is the overall level that price needs to hold, right? As long as we stay above 505, like I said, I'm looking at 523. But I'm pretty much looking at this high to be taken out of this candle. But going back to this impulsive move, I'm pretty much looking at price to go up to 523. Hence, this wick to the downside, price came down, it filled this wick, right? If you went short here and if you didn't sell out, what happened? You're down, right? So, and like I said, this stock was green on Friday, despite the whole market. Yeah, it was up $6 Friday, and even on the day before, right? Even despite the whole market being well, not the whole market, but I know like some no, like most of tech was red. So despite most of tech being red, Microsoft was holding strong. And even then, like I said, like the pat, like if this thing was going to tank, it would have done it on Friday or Thursday. It would have broke under 493, but it didn't. Like I said, it filled this gap right here and it's holding. So as long as we stay above 505.47, I'm looking at a retest of this high of 513.50. Then over that, you can just start looking at highs, right? That's all price does is just takes out highs and lows. So over 513.50, I'm looking at 515.55. But my overall TP, it's 50% of this impulsive move at 523.49 for this swing on Microsoft. Then if we go real crazy, this gap right here that price needs to fill. Facebook, I know people are like earnings, bad, bearish. I don't care. As long as Facebook can stay above 604.44, I'm looking at 615. Same thing. And then if we obviously we break under, it has a gap to fill at 552, but I don't really care about that gap yet since we just filled this gap right here at 606.97, right? So if I wanted to, I could trap price like this. And so you can see when I drew these two lines, price is pretty much trapped in this zone right here, just based off the daily time frame. Go down to the 4 hour time frame and zoom in. You see it better. But this one, like, it's just like I don't really need to say much. Long as I want this daily time frame when it opens. I want it to come down and test the last daily candle, right? At least hold 50% of that. So as long as we can stay above 604, or even what might happen, price might break under 604.44, leave a wick, and then pop back up. So as long as the candle body, as long as the candle, yeah, as long as the candle body doesn't close under 604.44 and leave a bearish candle, or close under, this body, then I'm bullish on Facebook. Go to 1 hour. Like I said, I want price to come down first. Like, I'm not saying I'm bullish out the gate. I would love for price to come down and test the 604.44 level, so that way I can get in, set like a dollar or two stop loss, and take it back up to 614.98, which I think is the weekly 50%, if I'm not mistaken. What is this? No, I think it's a daily. I don't know. It was a daily or weekly. It was something. I think it was the weekly. Yeah, it was. Because I usually just draw boxes, but for y'all, I'll just draw the fib. So hold 604, 615, Facebook. Like, I mean, that's all I can say. Like, I don't have anything else to say to like prove my point, and it has a gap to fill. I mean, if we break above 615, like I said, then I'll be looking. You see this red kind of right here with volume? We have space in the middle. So 621. Hold 604, 615, 621. If you hold above that, you're just being greedy, unless you have like one runner that you don't care about. So if you do have that one runner, then I'm looking for price to take out these highs and fill this gap at 630 on Facebook. Last but not least is Mickey Mouse, Clubhouse, Disney. This stock, I like this gap. I think it's gonna come back up and fill this gap. Same thing. Go to weekly. So this candle, I'm pretty much looking at 110. But but if you measure so if we go to weekly, right? If you measure this move right here from the low to the high, I drew a box to make it easier for me to like see it better. But pretty much, if you just measure that low to high with the fib, the 50% is at 102.4. So if price can come down to 102, I'm gonna set an alert here actually. If price can come down to 102.40, right? I want us to wick in this bullish candle right here. If we can wick in that candle and a hold, what's that wick? 97? Yeah, so pretty much the zone I'm looking for is in between 102 and 97.95. If we can come down and leave a wick in here and pop back up 102.4, then I'm looking at 105. And overall TP would be up to what, 115 for the swing. Since this is the last weekly candle, well, the candle that closed for the week, like that. Oh, 111. What are the odds? 111. Yeah, I like this. Wick into here. So you either wait for the break of 102.4, right? If we wick down and pop back up, or we break under and hold above 97.95. It's only like $2 more, but well, I'd take not no $2. That's like $4. So I mean, it's just up to you. Like I said, they had earnings, so I think, and like I said, I'm not really. This to me is bullish. Like even like you see this chop right here, like it's not. Yes, it's making lows, but it's making highs. Like it's someone's buying. Someone is buying down here, and it's pretty much in a range. I could just do this. This is the start of the range right here. Boom, the top of the range, and then you see how price is playing in this range. Anytime price breaks under the range, what happens? It pops right back up. So it's only a matter of time before this thing starts to move. But that's it for me. Uh, I hope y'all enjoy. I'm probably gonna make another video like separately over Spy and QQQ, because like there's no point in me adding Spy and QQQ my top three if I could just make a video, a detailed video over them. But if I'm gonna do a video over Spy and the Qs, it's gonna be like it's gonna be super detailed, like super. When I say detailed, I'm talking about like a full breakdown from the monthly, probably to the 3 month chart. Honestly, the 3 month, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and so on. But until next time, I'll see y'all in the next video.